Good morning. Hopefully I am live. Do let me know if you're on. It's Lisa Johnson here, coming to you with day one. So I'm going to tell you in a second everything that you're going to need to do to be able to be in with winning the prizes for this week and what we're going to be learning about in this challenge. But for now, I want you to just let me know you're on and say hi so I can wait for everybody to get on so that Facebook decides to tell people that actually I'm on and this is day one of the challenge. If you want to give me a heart or a thumbs up, I would be very grateful because it means that more people who are registered to take part in this challenge will know about it. God, my hair is like all over the place today. It's just like doing its own thing. How are you doing? Let me know, and let me know as well where you are. I'm going to assume that most of you are in the UK and that all of my US friends and my Australian friends are going to be catching up later in the day, which is absolutely fine, by the way. You don't have to be on live. Where am I? I'm in my middle office. I am currently waiting for my new house, which I've just bought, to be renovated. And so while I'm there, we've rented this house and I'm not allowed to put any pictures on the walls because it's a rented house. And so it's really echoey everywhere, which is really strange. I made it back 2 o'clock in the morning. For those of you that follow my Facebook or Instagram, I was in Edinburgh last night trying to get a plane back, and they kept challenge or seeing me live. I recognise a lot of your names, so I'm presuming it's probably not, but just in case, I'm going to ask anyway. So yeah, so most people here in the UK, oh, you're down there, just a little bit down the road from me. It's only 9 p.m. in Australia. Of course, Natalie is here. It was so nice seeing so many of you at the book launch party on Thursday and over the book tour over the past 3 days. It was just so nice to see you all in person. But yeah, I'm back now, back straight into work, straight into a challenge because we need to talk about strategy. So I'm not going to keep you for very long because I know that you're all busy people. So let's start. We just kind of give you an overview of what we're going to be doing. Hey, nice to see you all. Oh, we got someone from Cyprus. Look, it's not all UK, I was wrong. So over the next 4 days, I'm going to be introducing you to some real business strategy concepts. What do I mean when I say real business strategy? If I'm completely honest, what I mean is that most online marketers that are teaching business strategy aren't actually teaching business strategy at all. And I've been sitting here for the past kind of 3 years going, I'm not going to tell them what they're doing. They know what they're doing. But actually what most of them are doing is they're just teaching a marketing strategy. And a marketing strategy is really important and really needed, but it's this big in comparison to your main business strategy. And the reason I'm now doing this is because over the past few years, what I've seen is people come in, learn a marketing strategy. Oh, I'm all right, Helen, you know me, I'll just carry on. And they implement their marketing strategy and it works for a bit. And so they're in business for a year or two and they're doing really well. And then suddenly it's not working anymore and they don't know why. And it's usually because they don't have the foundations. They don't have the business strategy in place. All they've got is the marketing strategy. So when the marketing strategy needs to change because the world has changed and business changes and their business changes and their experience changes, they don't know what to do because they haven't sorted out those basic things. You know, how your business is going to work. So it's really important that you separate the two. And when people are teaching business strategy online and all they're teaching you is where you're going to sell, what you're going to sell and how you're going to sell, recognize it to be a marketing strategy. Business is much more than that. It isn't just where you're going to sell and what you're going to sell, because then, you know, there are a million ways to make £1 million or dollars. And if you don't know your whole business strategy and what everything is based on, and how do you make decisions that are going to be right longer term rather than just the shorter term? So over the next 4 days, there's 7 main concepts that you need to know. I'm going to introduce you to 4 of them over the next few days so that you can actually start thinking about the things you really should be thinking about if you have a real business strategy. The good thing is, lots of people who wouldn't normally think about strategy properly are realizing this year that those of us that are doing well, it's because we actually have a proper business strategy that we took mainly from corporate. And I know that we all want to get out of corporate. You know, corporate is the reason we want our own businesses, because we didn't like it. I get that, but there are definitely some things from corporate that we have to be taking with us. The reason why corporates are there for a long period of time is because they really get this bit right. And as a small business, or even a solopreneur business, we can take that learning and we can have a business strategy that means we can grow much faster as well. So I'm going to give you 4 of the concepts that you kind of need to know. I'm going to give you a task at the end of each day, end of each live, and you're going to do that task and you're going to put it in the thread in here. So there's a thread for each task proof that you've done it. If you do all 4, there are amazing prizes to be won. But more than that, it's going to help you because it's going to make you start seeing the gaps, what you haven't done, and why maybe things aren't working or aren't as easy as they should be in your business. So on Monday, a week today, in the evening, I'll take you through all 7 of the things you need to know. So it'll be like a wrap up, and I'll add the other 3 in on a masterclass, which I'll be doing at 8 p.m. UK time. And what I'll also be doing is telling you the winners of this challenge on that masterclass next Monday. And I'll also be telling you a way that you can make a lot more money by helping others with their strategy once you've got yours sorted out. So I'll be telling you about my new accreditation, but we'll get to that. For now, I just want to sort out your own strategy because you can't help others with theirs unless yours is right, unless yours is really solid and you know what you're doing. So a reminder of the prizes. I'm just looking at my piece of paper to make sure I haven't missed anything off. You need to do all 4 parts of this challenge by Monday, a week today at 12 p.m. So that means if you can't do them because you're really busy during the week, you've got a weekend to be able to catch up and do all 4 parts. You don't have to do them on the day. It is easier to do them on the day though, because then you only have 1 part to do each day. So the first prize is a Mulberry purse. So a Mulberry purse or a Mulberry wallet, which I will be sending to just someone who has done all 4 parts who goes into the draw. The second is a Fortnum & Mason hamper. And we also have a cheerleader prize. So this is for the person, we always have somebody that's just really lovely and helping other people with their questions or if they get frustrated, because I get that these things are really frustrating. When it comes to any kind of business strategy or any concepts that we haven't done before, it can be frustrating. So one person is always there helping out and making sure people understand it. Because I don't believe that success is success unless we lift people up with us. We get them to where we are, which is what I'm trying to do now with you guys and what I want you to do with each other. So you can help each other and we have that ripple effect where people are having real business strategy. Let's start taking our businesses seriously rather than playing at it and just winging it. If we take it seriously, we can have amazing businesses that really thrive during this year, but people aren't taking them seriously. They're doing the fun stuff. They're not doing the stuff that really needs to be done. So let's start with day 1. Are you ready? Day 1 is all about analysis of your industry. Now, this doesn't matter whether you are a one-man band or you have a team of 20. You need to analyze your industry. Give me some yeses. Are you ready for this? Because this is good. You're going to need to do some work. These things, when you see people out there who have amazing businesses and you're like, why isn't that happening to me? Why are they making 6 figures, multi-6 figures, 7 figures? Why isn't it happening? I guarantee you they've done the business strategy. Now, this is even if they are very spiritual businesses. I have a lot of people say to me, yeah, but I'm watching this spiritual business mentor. She doesn't have any strategy. She literally just comes on and it just comes to her and she makes loads of money. 100% know that behind the scenes, these people have a very, very good business strategy with a marketing strategy as part of it, but they have that business strategy there. Why not tell you about it? But they definitely do, because I've seen behind the scenes of most businesses now. So That's what I always tell my clients, emulate the big boys. If it's good enough for the high street retailers or massive online retailers, why reinvent the wheel? That's what I mean about corporate. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We know how to do this. You know, I worked in corporate for years. I was a risk analyst. This is the kind of stuff I knew how to do with businesses. And there's no reason that we shouldn't be doing it, even if we are just one person. So let's just get on and do it so that we have the right infrastructure to be able to handle a 7-figure business. Right, let's talk about analysis of your industry. One of the biggest issues that we see online is this phrase: there's no such thing as competition. There's no such thing as competition. You don't even need to worry about it. There's no such thing as competition. Of course there is such a thing as competition. In every industry there is competition. This does not mean that you have to hate your competition or dislike them or not collaborate with them. This does not mean you have to worry or compare yourself, but of course there's competition. And if we decide that we're ignoring the competition and that it doesn't exist, we will not have a great business. Because one of the biggest things that businesses do is they look at their competition and they see the differences between their competition. Yeah, we don't need to let it stop us. And in fact, it really, really helps us, competition. Because what we can do is we can look at competition and we can see the strengths and the weaknesses. We can see the messaging they're using. We can see if our messaging is different to theirs. We can see if there's some messaging we've got that we need to hype up even more because it's so different to theirs. Because what people do when they come and look at different businesses they want to work with, let's say they need a business strategist like me, they will go and look at all the business strategists. And they're not just going to look at you. I know people tell you this, that if you're visible everywhere, they will only come to you. They won't only come to you. They will definitely go and look at other business strategists and they will have a look at who is the best person for them. Some of that comes down to messaging. It's all about differentiators. Yeah, it's all about what's different about you to other people, why they're going to go with you. Now, some of it is about your messaging and how you're visible. This is what we're going to be talking about, Nicola. You've hit the nail on the head. And some of it is about what the value is of you compared to somebody else. So let's just talk about the difference. This all starts with the difference between ideal client and market research. So we all hear about ideal client in this online space, but for some reason, no one wants to talk about market research when it's just as important. So we all know our ideal clients generally. So the first, just to give you a difference between ideal client and market research, your ideal client is somebody that you want to work with. Like, you are the person who makes that decision. So I always say, if somebody walked through the door right now and said, I want to work with you, who do you hope that is? That's ideal client. Because it's someone you really want to work with. Usually because they've got a problem that you know your solution can help. So if someone comes in here to me and says, I'm not making enough money in my business, I've been trying for a year, nothing's happening, I'm excited. Ideal client. I know I can help them and I'll find it quite easy. And so of course, they're going to be an ideal client. And maybe they are, my kind of age, and maybe they like to travel like me. And so they become an ideal client because they resonate with me more and I resonate with them. However, ideal client is just one part of the story. Ideal client comes under your marketing strategy. Up here, in the bigger, broader part of your business strategy, is market research and what we call viability of your product. So we need to know whether your service, product, whatever you're selling is actually viable. What this means is, will anyone want to buy it? And this is the part that most people online leave off. They don't offline. Everyone's got this bit covered. Everybody. But online, for some reason, we think we don't need to check the viability of what we're going to sell and whether people want it. Now, there are different ways to check the viability of what you have. And this is why some people spend a year trying to sell something and they just don't understand why it's not working. It's because they didn't test the viability. Nobody wanted the product in the first place. It's part of business strategy. So there are lots of different ways to test the viability of something that you're going to sell. things like having focus groups with your ideal client in them and talking to them about whether this is something they want. Things like surveys to large amounts of people to see if your solution is right for their problem. Because remember, this is about, everything you do is about solving someone's problem or helping them with a real need, a desire. Everything you sell is about that. So if you're not talking in your messaging about what problem you're solving, if you don't really understand the problem that you are solving, whatever it is that you do, whether it's a course or a product or whatever, you're never going to have a viable product. So I believe the easiest way to look at viability is to look at our competition. And yet we're supposed to just pretend they don't exist and just like, not even look at them. If we look at our competition, we can see whether something is viable. Because if they're selling it already and doing well with it, we know it's a viable thing. We know that this is a solution that people want. So let's take a course. Let's say you have a course for VAs on how to get more business using social media. The easiest way to test if that's a viable thing is to go and look at other people that sell the same solution. It doesn't have to be exactly the same solution, but it needs to be that those people have a similar problem. Let's say VAs that aren't making money because they don't know how to use social media, or it might just be VAs that aren't making enough money. Some people's solution will be to teach them marketing. Your solution might be to teach them social media, but it's for the same goal, to help them get more money. So they're still your competitors in that way because their ideal client are the VAs and they're the same as yours. So what we need to be looking at is people that are going to give a similar kind of service to what you do to make sure it's viable. Then what we're going to do is, once we've looked at that competition, and don't be that person that starts comparing yourself when you look at competition, because that's a downfall. If you start looking at your competition going, oh my God, they're doing amazingly and I'm doing awfully and I've only just started and they've been doing it for 3 years, that's not going to get you anywhere. You need to start looking at things from a CEO eye, not from a poorly paid employee's eye. Like, you need to be looking at it from top level down, like no emotions involved. You're just going to look at what's out there and what they're doing and how they're doing it. And then you are going to, forget comparisonitis. That's not where we're going with this, because we're CEOs, right? We're not going to play that game. What we're going to do instead is we're just going to look at them with an eye of somebody that would be your ideal client. And we're going to go, what are they doing really well? And we're only going to know this from what we can see on the outside, because that's all anyone who's your ideal client can see. So website, social media, have a look, choose maybe 3 or 4, have a look and see what they're doing really well and see how their messaging differs to yours. What's their big strength? So let me tell you how I did this in my business. I had a look in year 2 and I was looking around at other business strategists, and just watch from the beginning, it's all cool. And I was looking at other business strategists going, okay, there are a load of business strategists out there. There are loads of people helping other people. So thank you, they're booked now. So I said, all right, what are they doing well? And I'd have a look, and she's really good at selling. Branding is brilliant. They've got their branding on point. The messaging is really good. I can really see how their messaging is going to get the ideal clients, and their sales pages are brilliant. What are they not talking about that they should be talking about? Integrity. I could see that my ideal client really wanted someone who works with integrity, who works ethically, doesn't want to just make multi-7 figures if it means walking all over people and conning people, basically. And some of these people who I was looking at did seem like, if I was reading their stuff, a little bit con artisty, a little bit sleazy salesy. And so I was like, there's a message missing here that I can capitalize on because it's something I care about, and that's integrity. No one's really talking about it. And so I started talking about it. And it is the difference between when people come to me and someone else. I already cared about integrity, but I wasn't putting it in my messaging because I believed everyone was. But actually, when I had a look and looked at their website, looked at their social media, they weren't. So, it was really, really important that I started to, because there's a big differentiator. You'll start, as you start to look at people, as you start to look at your competition, you'll start realizing the differentiators really, really quickly. So that can think of a recent coach who completely missed the mark on being tone deaf to accessibility. If accessibility is important to you and you have lots of clients that need accessibility, amazing. Start talking about it, because that could be the thing. But first, what we want to do is see if that's viable. We want to look at your competition and see what others are doing and what's the difference between them and you, what they're doing really well and what you can hype up. So in a business strategy, this is called a SWOT analysis. It's called a SWOT analysis because it's where you look at the strengths of another company, the weaknesses of another company. So that's where you can hype up your messaging and do your thing really good. For example, you might go and look at somebody and go, oh, okay, they do this thing really well, but their weakness is customer service. I can see a couple of people on here who have complained their customer service isn't very good. So if I make my customer service amazing, that will be the differentiator. So we look at strengths, we look at weaknesses. In this SWOT analysis, we look at O, which is opportunities. Where is there an opportunity for you to shine? And we look at threats. What are they doing so well that you're not, that you really need to up your game on? Because that will really, stand out your business. If you do a SWOT analysis, your business will be so secure because you will already know your competition and you will already know where you're going to go. We're going to talk about values on another day, but people are doing values wrongly as well when it comes to business. So I'll talk about that. I think it's tomorrow. So are you ready for your task today? Your task today is to start researching people that do the same as you or offer a solution to a similar problem. Good. Glad you've had that light bulb moment. I want you to just choose 2 businesses for now. Just 2 businesses. Have a look at their social media, have a look at their websites. And I want you to write down one strength that they have over you, one thing that you love about what they do. Like, what is their strength? What is the thing that you're like, yeah, they're brilliant. Maybe their messaging is different, whatever it is. And the second thing you're going to do is write down something that you believe you have a strength over them. You have to name them, by the way. So what you're going to be writing in the thread is company A, my strength, their weakness. Company B, my strength, their weakness, and their strength, my weakness. So that we can actually start looking at the competition with a clear eye and not with a mean eye of, oh, they're doing better than me or I'm doing better than them. Because collaboration will happen. You'll collaborate with your competitors. So we're going to always be nice. We're going to always want to lift others up. But at the same time, we do need to know they're out there and we need to know their strengths and weaknesses. So that's the task for today. Who is in on today's task? Remember, you don't have to name them. Yeah, it is tomorrow. We're talking about values and mission and what people are mainly doing wrong when it comes to doing their values and mission with their business. They're just doing it because it's something someone's told them to do. They don't know why they're doing it. I'm going to tell you why. Great. Makes sense. Fabulous. So that's part 1 of the challenge. It's as easy as that. I'm going to introduce you to these concepts, which are going to not just help you, but it's going to have a ripple effect. Because when you're looking at your clients, whatever it is that you do, whether you are a copywriter, it doesn't really matter whether you are a coach, whether you are a VA. If you can look at these things in your clients' businesses, this strategy piece, you are so much more valuable than you were 10 minutes ago. Because you will be able to see things that they can't because of the stuff that I'm teaching you here. Great. Love that you're in. Go and do this. Do it to 2 different people. Help each other. And I will be back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock after reading all your entries. And we're going to introduce you to the second concept of business strategy, not marketing strategy. And now when you look out there at people that are teaching strategy online, you will see it's all marketing because it's all about how to sell, what to sell, when you're going to sell, what your messaging is, and what your offers are. That's all marketing. It's nothing to do with business strategy. So you can imagine how many people don't have a business strategy. And I've always had one, and all the people I know that are doing really well have always had one. And what we've noticed is the people that don't have one, they're the people that aren't making as much money. So I'm just going to make everyone make more money, have that ripple effect by giving you all the business strategy. Right. I will see you tomorrow. See, I like that some of you are already on it. I will see you tomorrow, but have an amazing day for the rest of the day today, whatever it is you're doing.